Holy alter ego, Batman. It is Flight Check International. This is season 1.5, episode 2, and I am here. We are here ready to talk about Worlds. It has finally arrived. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Mark your calendars, get your alarm clocks ready, because myself, I'll be up at an ungodly hour to be watching Hanwha Life Esports versus LNG as they take on each other in the first game. I'm Sandy Toes, and to my left and my extra left are the usual fellas, Noxwar and Curly Double Q. Fellas, twas the night before Worlds, and all through the house, not a pro player was stirring, not even EDG Mouse. How are we?
I'm pretty sure at least half of them are definitely like on EU solo queue.
Yeah,
you know they got to play in the morning.
Yeah, how are we doing? Hang on. I wanted to find this this tweet from Medic earlier that was really good. "'Twas the night before Worlds, and all through the house, the pros are looking to find them a spouse. The fans were ready, supplied with their copium, dreaming that one day it'll turn into hopium. Tomorrow the players will fight for their lives, and in only 1 month, only 5 will survive." Boy, we waited all year, and we made it. I think it feels... I'm pretty excited. I don't know about you guys. Nox, how are you feeling about Worlds?
It's the best time of the year. What else is there to say? NA's not playing yet, so I'm hyped. And it'll only go downhill. No, I'm just kidding. In all honesty, though, I'm excited. We only get 2 international competitions a year, right? Like we don't even get Rift Rivals anymore or any of that stuff. So international competition is happening. It's happening amongst emerging regions. I mean, you get a little bit of 4-seed LPL versus 4-seed LCK, which is hype. I'll take as much of that as I can get, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll take whatever I can get. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm pumped. It's gonna be a good month.
Yeah, absolutely. Curly, how about you? How are you feeling about it all?
Dude, Worlds is my favorite time of the year for so many reasons. Number one, like last year Worlds is a huge part of what got me to start watching esports, because it was just production was amazing. It was super fun. It very conveniently overlapped with a time where I was like, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. even though my first class is at 10 a.m. So it's like, cool, now I've got something to do in the morning besides just walk around the lake before the sunlight comes out. So like that was very, very exciting last year, and I'm looking forward to see all the craziness. I mean, with international competition, you get the best of the best from every region clashing in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. You get to see normally a bunch of really good jerseys. This year, I'm going to be honest, there's only some really good jerseys, but that's a topic for another time, for another stream.
There's a few that are like really, really good, and then there are several that are really, really not great, in my opinion.
And then there's
none of them are FlyQuest last year.
None of them are FlyQuest last year. No, like all the ones last year, like even the most mediocre ones were really freaking good. So I don't know what happened with the designs this year. Yeah, but it's whatever. But and then also personally, I'm not gonna not to do a self plug, but much like Noxwar is doing his Pick'ems commissions in FlyQuest Discord. Yeah. I have opted to run my own tournament utilizing the leaderboard feature on Pick'em's website.
Nice.
So if you want information on that, just when we do the plugs at the end, follow my Twitter, and they're up there. But yeah, so I'm just super excited because I think it's going to be a lot of good content for me to talk about too, even outside of Flight Check.
Just more opportunity to win.
More opportunity to win, exactly.
More opportunity to get free things and free RP, which really, that's all anyone could ask for these days. Nice. All right, well, like I said earlier, tomorrow morning starts play-ins. So we'll start there. The teams that are in play-ins, 10 teams, 2 groups. Y'all know the drill. It's the exact same format as last year's Worlds, sadly, because the Vietnamese team could not make it, so they had to do some adjustments. So for NA purposes, Cloud9 is in Group B with Beyond Gaming, Detonation Focus Me. Ooh, I don't know how to pronounce this. Galatasaray or Galata.
Yeah, I think it's Galatasaray.
All right, I apologize to any Turkish viewers out there, truly. And the much easier to pronounce Unicorns of Love.
Proud of you for getting that one.
Yeah, I mean, that was a toughie. I was honestly, I was sweating over that one. Oof. Man, that was tough. We can get into Group A in a minute, but I kind of want to focus on Group B just to start. There are some tough regions in this group. I think most people, when they saw these group draws, saw it and were like, wow, Korea and China really lucked out and got the very easy groups of life, if you will. And Cloud9 kind of got thrown into the gauntlet with some of the historically better performing regions. So yeah, Nox, I mean, looking at this group, PCS, Japan, Turkey, and the CIS, I mean, what's your initial take on, what we can expect? I mean, it's all single round robin, and all you have to do is place top 4 to get into a best of 5 scenario, or just finish first in the group to go through automatically. So there's a lot of opportunities here to progress, but still maybe a little troubling, because we also saw how Cloud9 was performing at the end of Summer Split.
So the main takeaway for me in Group B right now is this is probably the hardest group out of both of them, right? Like, even though the other group has like Hanwha and LNG in it, like, I'd rather be in Group A because you have Peace, Red Canids, and Infinity, which in my opinion have shown the least amount of resistance, or however you want to put it, like fight in their groups in the past year or so. So I would actually rather be in Group A, if I'm being completely honest. However, I will say on this caveat though, I think in the long run, if you aren't if you're in Group A and you're not getting out on the first seed, if you're in Group B and you're not getting out on the first seed, like, you're just SOL because you automatically have to play like either LNG or Hanwha, right?
Yeah.
So, man, I would totally much rather be. I would just rather be in Group A, honestly. Just straight up. It's just so much better because, like, no matter what, you end up playing either Cloud9 or Beyond Gaming, more than likely, possibly Detonation Focus Me. That's kind of like my power rankings right now.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, Group A is so much better because you're playing Hanwha and LNG, which you're probably going to lose if we're being honest. But then if you finish 3rd or 4th, then you get to play 3rd or 4th of Group B, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's tough, but the team after that, though, that's winnable. So you have tough matches on the opposite side of the best of 5 bracket, but it's doable. Whereas if you're on Group B side and you finish 3rd or 4th, you know for a fact to get in, you're playing one of Hanwha or LNG, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's going to be...
Yeah, that's kind of my takeaway.
Yeah, going to be tough for sure for any Group B teams finishing 3 or 4. Curly, I mean, let's talk some realistic expectations for Cloud9. I mean, a lot of times, we saw Cloud9, even in MSI, dropped a game to Pentanet. The OS team, struggled in general. I would argue that several of the teams in this group are stronger than the OS region. Yeah. How would you take it?
Well, I find it funny you bring up MSI because on 2 of my tabs here are Worlds Play-ins right now and MSI, so I can look at some stats here. Particularly, I'm nervous about DFM, UOL, and Beyond Gaming because UOL, I haven't been keeping too much track of them over the season. They didn't quite perform as expected for my liking at MSI, but I anticipate there might have been some summer growth. Mm-hmm. So they're probably going to be worthy opponents. But then I look to how C9 went 0-2 to the PCS representative at MSI. And like you said, they dropped a game to Pentanet. So if they dropped a game to Pentanet, who's to say they won't drop one to DFM? In fact, actually, DFM was in their group. They did drop one to DFM, so that could easily happen again. So I could see a world where Japan and the PCS are above us, and even the TCL, because TCL doesn't mess around. I haven't kept track of Galatasaray personally, but
they're not expected to do well, honestly.
They're not expected to do well. Damn shame.
I have them power ranked probably the team in the group.
Okay, so then
they're dead last.
So assuming TCL is 5th, I don't know. I don't actually see C9 as being top 3. I might be a little bit negative in this. But if they are top 2 or top 3, then they have to face the LCK or the LPL. It's like eventually they'll get there, and like no matter how they do it, B performance, once it comes to play-ins, playoffs, they're gonna lose to Hanwha and they're going to lose to LNG.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. I think for Cloud9 to make it out of this group, for any team to make it out of this group, but for NA in particular, you have to get top 2. And I mean, we have seen some very strange things happen. I mean, in this very format, last year, LGD really struggled in their group play. And they had to battle. I mean, they almost didn't even make it out of groups. They finished 4th, I believe, in their group. And then they looked better in the best of 5s. But strange things could happen. Even a world where, Hanwha Life, is sitting in that 3rd or 4th spot. And then who knows? Maybe it comes down to Hanwha versus Cloud9 for a spot in groups. And, wouldn't that be some spice right from the get-go? I mean, I think there's possibility for some crazy scenarios. I mean, I wouldn't even say that Beyond Gaming is safe. Nox, I mean, how do you feel about that? About that take in particular? I mean, I don't think any team in Group B should be considered a lock to get out of their group.
Say, honestly, Unicorns of Love I'm not favoriting at all, but at the same time, UOL, they have Cheapy as coach. I have a lot of respect for Cheapy. I think he's very smart, and he is great at developing his players and making sure they play the way they want to play. They could absolutely be a dark horse for this group, right? And then Detonation Focus Me had their new support come in. They're looking good. And then it's Cloud9 and Beyond Gaming, PCS and NA. They're just solid powerhouses, at least in this respective group. This is a scary group. The only one that I'm not really considering is Turkey. So, yeah, no one's safe in this group. Yeah. Do I have my favorites? Absolutely. But, yeah, no one is safe in Group B.
Right. Yeah, looking at the way the schedule is playing out, it's kind of interesting. So you have UOL and DFM both play 2 games on day 1, and so does Galatasaray, and then Beyond and C9 only play 1 game. And then you reverse that tomorrow, and C9 and Beyond each play 2 games, and the other teams only play 1. And it's the same with the other groups, so that the final day, we were talking about this a little bit before the show, there's only 4 games played on that day, and so by the end of day 2, I believe at least... Yeah, every team will have played, or at least one team in each group will have played all 5 of their games. I'm trying to figure out which team. Looks like it'll be Galatasaray will be all done after day 2, and it looks like it's going to be Hanwha Life will be done after day 2 as well. So they'll be kind of waiting on day 3 to see if there's any change due to results, things like that. So the schedule is certainly interesting, provides a little bit of hype or some kind of storyline narrative thing for sure. So let's turn over the attention to Group A. So I mean, this one, guys, let's be real. It's Hanwha Life and LNG 1 and 2. It's maybe just not exactly sure who will be 1 and who will be 2. I'm saying, I'll just be right out with it. LNG, I think, should be taking first in this group. In my opinion, Hanwha Life is basically Chovy dragging a dead top jungle duo across the finish line with Deft providing support as necessary. Do either of you have a differing take on Hanwha versus LNG, or am I on the money here, do you think?
I'm inclined to certainly agree with that inclination. Yeah, that's I think LNG is just the favorite. I also just tend to favor LPL over LCK anyway. I've said it again, like I said it before, and I'll probably say it until it changes, that LPL just is consistently more competitive. Like when you get into the tournaments, it's really like who's gonna win. Whereas with LCK, it's like, all right, who's gonna be behind Damwon Kia? Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
That's just how it is. So LNG should definitely win this.
Yeah. Nox, any conflicting thoughts there?
I was gonna say, let me put the nail in the coffin. I have LNG ranked higher than the 3 other LCK seeds. The only other Korean seed I have higher than LNG is Damwon. Like LNG is straight up better than 2, 3, and 4 from Korea. Simple as that. I don't see a world where LNG is not coming out in first. However, just because I saw the stats from our pick'ems that we're hosting, I don't know if you want to show this on stream or if you want me to just read it out. But out of the 259 responses I have had for the FlyQuest pick'ems so far, and this is a bit of a teaser, obviously. I'll actually release these tomorrow whenever it's like completed.
Yeah, this is going to help me determine my own picks, so thanks.
The pick ratio for Hanwha Life versus LNG Esports is currently 50.2% for LNG and 49.8% for Hanwha.
Now, doing quick math, my assumption is that's literally 1 vote difference.
That or 2. Quick math, it's 1 or 2 votes. That is it was over 259 responses, which is absolutely insane.
That is a lot closer than I would have. If you had presented that to me and said, who do you think's ahead? That's a lot closer than I would have said.
So, I was very surprised because I've been watching the chart grow throughout the day, and I think the biggest lead I saw at any one point was LNG had like a 2% lead over Hanwha, and even then, like in the past like hour and a half or so, it's been closing again. So I'm just like, what is happening? I didn't think this matchup was going to be that close, but I guess a lot of people still have a lot of respect for Korea. So I don't trust Hanwha at all.
Well, do you think it's respect for Korea or respect for Chovy? Is it the Church of Chovy coming out in full force, or is it just LCK respect? I mean, I think you do need to respect the LCK, to a large extent. I mean, historically a dominant region, absolutely, top 3. There's debates to be had whether they were absolutely number 1 at a time, and then they perhaps slipped down to 3. Right now, probably looking like they're back in that 2 conversation with EU. But yeah, I do think. I think LNG is heavily favored in this group. I'm kind of curious to discuss. I mean, the other 3 teams in this group. You've got Infinity Esports from LATAM. From OS, you've got Peace, and from Brazil, you've got the Red Canids. Super interesting teams for me here are particularly Peace and Red. Red was actually not that strong of a team in the summer season. I believe they were not even top 2 regular season. They were kind of more towards the middle of the pack, but managed to kind of run the playoffs. And then Peace is a really interesting team to me as well for a couple reasons. For one, they've had a couple of visa issues. Their main top laner, Api, could not make it due to visa issues. And so coming out of retirement to prove himself to the world is one of my favorite players, actually.
Yes, sir.
The OG Poppy player himself, Vizicsacsi, returning, and in what crazy fashion, returning for the first time to the playing stage at Worlds, albeit for an OS team, but I think this is just such a cool story. Regardless of how they fare, I'm really excited to watch Vizicsacsi in particular, because I think he's definitely here to say, look, I'm back, I can play, sign me, Carlos, give me a call, I'm ready to go. he's ready to make his case to replace Wonder on G2 for sure. Or whatever other team, EU or NA, might be interested in him. So I think that's a really cool storyline, and you have to remember that 3 and 4 out of this group play each other, and then the winner plays number 2 from Group B, and that could be any one of these teams beyond Cloud9, UOL, maybe even DFM if the stars align. So we could have some really particularly interesting matchups, when it comes to the best of fives. Out of these 3 teams, how are you guys feeling about the other teams in Group A, the maybe overlooked ones?
Well, I don't know, because it's interesting, because when you look at MSI, these regions never really actually got to face each other in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. Because CBLOL and LLA didn't make it out of the respective groups. And so OS was just kind of up there against the Titans all alone, So it's really, I feel like OS, I do expect them to do the best out of this. I expect them, I don't know, I feel like Peace Gaming just, there's something in it. I cannot tell you what, but I just have this itching feeling, this itching belief in OS to make the top 3. And then from there, I kind of feel like Infinity, since they'll have a little bit easier of a time with the more even groups for them than they did in Group C of MSI, with having to deal with Damwon Kia and Cloud9. I feel like they might have a little bit better time, and maybe they could surprise me and be top 3, especially because they were able to get their one win was on Japan, which in terms of power rankings, I want to say is some people consider them to be above OS and CBLOL. So if they were able to take a game off of Japan, DFM over the summer, maybe they can do more here.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for OS for sure. I am pretty down on Red from Brazil. I'm just kind of down on that region in general. I don't really.
I wonder why, Mr. Portuguese man.
Look, okay. Oh, no. It's not a cultural bias. It's a performance at recent international events bias.
We beat Turkey, therefore I'm a fan.
It's a lack of doing anything of real particular note for me, and I just think I'm currently looking at Peace as the 3, and then just kind of a crapshoot between Infinity and Red Canids for the number 4. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it right now. And I would even go so far as to say I am seeing Peace as the team that makes it out of that first elimination round and plays number 2 from Group B. So that could be really interesting. I am sorry to report, I'm time traveling from the future. I don't see Peace making it to the main stage. I think they'll run into a roadblock no matter who they face on the other side. But who knows? Stranger things have occurred at Worlds before. All right, so that's plans. Plans will be done by the time we get together again next week. In fact, the final rounds are Saturday morning into afternoon. And then it gets into the main event. And so let's move on over to that, barring any last-minute final thoughts about play-in stage.
I could also give my thoughts on Group A.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did you not?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sandy.
Well,
It's fine. I get it. I was harassing him about his Portuguese.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to group stage. Knox doesn't get to talk.
Yeah, what you guys aren't seeing is in the group chat, I've secretly messaged Knox, Knox, shut up. or I will boot you from the call. You know?
Gone, done, over with, booted, goodbye. Not very wholesome. Sandy.
No, not
showcasing greatness.
Yeah, not really showcasing greatness. Not really making this a safe space for others. You know. Sorry, my bad, guys. I'll do better.
That being said, if you happen to see a job posting for a new podcast host.
Anyway, all right. Let me hit Group A just real fast. Mm-hmm. So obviously LNG, Hanwha, and personally, I'm not so big on Peace. I don't think they're going to get third. I do think they're better than Brazil, though. I'm still not sold on Brazil. I don't know what's going on in Brazil. They got to figure out what's going on down there because they have the scene, they have the infrastructure, but they're not getting it together. I don't know. They did show improvement during MSI, which is awesome. They beat Turkey, which, you know what, in years past they haven't been able to do. So they're on the up and up. So who knows? Maybe they're even better coming into this Worlds. But I still have them power ranked 5th. And then I'm still a little higher on Latin America than I am Osh. I think Osh just kind of. I think a lot of people are kind of hyped up on Osh due to the fact that they were in a group with only UOL, which was not getting their shit together, and RNG, which didn't even matter. So for me personally, I still have Latin America higher than Osh. I think Latin America is going to be able to outperform them, especially because they split 1-1 with DFM at MSI. Granted, I know DFM had higher highs because obviously took a game off Cloud9 and damn near took a game off Damwon. But at the end of the day, I just, in general, I would say the power level of Latin America is higher than Osh. So I think those guys can do it, and I think they'll probably end up taking third over Peace. The other thing I just wanted to highlight really quick, though, did you guys look at the roster for Peace?
No.
A little bit, yeah.
So there should be 2 names on there, along with Vizicsacsi, that should seem a little familiar to you. I don't know if you guys are looking at the page or not.
Yeah, I've got it.
I think they'd be a little more familiar to Sandy, as I'm still fresh to the scene.
So you've got Babip, ex-TSM Academy jungler, and also Tally, I believe.
Correct, GGA top laner. Very interesting because both of them were kicked off of their respective academy teams earlier in spring, went back to Oceania, and now have qualified on this Peace roster for Worlds.
Yep.
So
interesting.
Talk about a hell of an upgrade, right?
It's like, oh, we're out of academy. Damn.
Yeah. Guess we'll go to Worlds.
Guess I'll go to Worlds.
But yeah, I wanted to highlight that really quick because I actually thought both Babip and Tally were not doing bad in Academy. I didn't think they were stand out by any reason, name, or sort, but I thought they were okay. So the fact that they just come back to Osh and are just like, you know what, let's go, and then they take over Pentanet too, which was like the favorite to win the whole thing. Like they were stopping the regular season, they were running playoffs, and then they run into Peace for the first time, and Peace just 3-0s them.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Well, what's of interesting note to me, at least, is both Babip and Tally actually were at Worlds last year as well on Legacy. That roster actually, in a large way, all came over to North America afterwards. That was Tapoon, Babip, Tally, Raze, who is now the Immortals ADC, and Isles, who is playing support for Cloud9 Academy. So all of these players managed to make it over to NA in one way or another. But now, as we can see, Babip and Tally return to OS to dominate once again on this team. And, they've made it. And, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what they do. They've always been an entertaining region, so this team should be a good time. No matter what. And like I said, I'm just hyped to see Vizicsacsi playing again. The old man coming back out for one last shot. I mean, he's 28 now. He had a couple years off, and I'm just hyped to see what he does. So it'll be a good time for sure.
He's definitely going to be the X factor for the squad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's automatically an advantage for his team in the top lane. I would even argue an advantage against Hanwha Life in the top lane because I'm not exactly sure. Are they bringing Morgan? I think they brought Morgan to.
They brought Morgan. I don't think they took Duda or Dudu.
Dudu.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would take Chachi over Morgan 6 days out of the week. So, okay, if that's everything there, let's move on to the main event. So as we know, groups are not completely filled in yet, but we can make some extrapolations. We can
surmise.
We can do some surmising. So for one, if Cloud9 were to get out of their group, big rip, because they would likely go into Group A with Damwon, FPX, and Rogue. Which I'm sorry to any team that gets in that group, you are not getting out, barring the collapse of the century from Damwon or FPX. And sorry, Rogue, but you got kind of boned by a group draw once again. Hate to see it.
They were the sacrifice for the rest of EU, because EU got okay groups otherwise.
Yeah, for real.
Really, the only EU group that could have won here, in my opinion.
Yeah, for real. Group B right now is our friends over in 100 Thieves, Edward Gaming, and T1 making their return to the Worlds stage. Faker back at Worlds, very exciting. Now, clearly, Hanwha or LNG cannot go in this group. So, as things stand,
likely Beyond.
If the teams go through, like if we were to assume that it's Hanwha, LNG, Beyond, and Cloud9, Beyond Gaming would be slotting in here. So interesting, because I could conceive of a world where that gives 100 Thieves maybe, a good shot at, taking second in this group. So I think there's a possibility there. And then Group C, just kind of running through these, and then we'll go back over them in a little bit more detail. You've got Fnatic, PSG Talon, and Royal Never Give Up. I believe, I think
Hanwha would end up here.
Hanwha would end up here. I don't know if Cloud9 technically could go in here, but I don't think it's likely.
Cloud9 could if, for whatever reason,
Hanwha doesn't.
Yeah, if Hanwha doesn't make it somehow.
Right, because Hanwha has to go in Group C. So. Okay.
And LNG has to go in Group D.
Right. So, Hanwha going in this group, which makes it a little spicy. So Fnatic, PSG, RNG, and Hanwha. That's an exciting group for sure. That's a group where I could see any of those teams making it out. And then finally in Group D, you've got Gen.G, Mad Lions, Team Liquid, and most likely LNG Esports. And this is the Hopium group. Just to jump straight on that, this is the group that I think most people have looked at and said this is NA's best chance to get out of groups. So, we will see exactly how that cookie crumbles. Is there any place in particular that you gentlemen would like to start with these groups? So I think I said on Twitter, what did I say? We'll jump to this point and then we'll go back to the other one. Are we going 18-0 in groups, or are we going 0-18? Or is it going to be somewhere in the middle? I mean, I'm down for extremes,
Well, it's certainly going to be in the middle.
Yeah.
If
a nice 9-9, everyone goes 3. Everyone goes 3-3 and finishes third, right?
No, actually, how it's really going to go is, or at least, so let's get the breakdown of my expectations.
Yes.
Under the potential that C9 does make it into Group A, they are then going 0-6. Biggest rip is, but sorry, no, it's just not happening. The best they can do is 1-5. So we'll give them a pity 1 point. And then 100 Thieves. I believe in 100 Thieves. I think their minimum is going to be 3-3, like FlyQuest did last year. Because honestly, these aren't as strong of teams as FlyQuest was facing in their groups last year. And so if FlyQuest can do it, I think it's an easy potential for 3-3, and I could even see a 4-2. I'm huffing the shit out of that Hopium and saying 4-2 100 Thieves. So that's If we're taking the pity point to C9, that's 5 overall. So that's 5 and 7. And then we jump down to TL. Unlike everyone else, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating on TL too much. If I'm being critical on TL, I don't see them getting past a 3-3 here. So that would then make it, let's see, so 5. That would make it 8 and 10. So that is my prediction for that is my prediction for NA. It's going to be 8 and 10 with 100 Thieves being the first team in a while to get to the group stage.
Okay.
Where's 100 Talk Pod at when you need him?
I know, for real.
You want to go, Sandy, or you want me?
No, I was going to let you take the reins here.
All right. So, I'm actually going to dissent a little bit. I don't think Group D is the easiest group for NA. I think it's Group B. Or at least I'm going to dissent against Sandy because it's kind of what he said earlier. I think Group B is actually probably NA's best chance. I'm sure both of you are aware. I don't believe in EDG. I think they're fake. I think they're faker than faker. Whatever you want to call it. I don't trust this team. I know they won the LPL. I know they looked pretty solid all year long, but there was a huge streak at the very end of the LPL season where they could not pick up a win at all. They were struggling. And it took a little bit of time off because obviously they still placed first seed, and that's like a whole week and a half span from them to get the crap figured out, and all the other teams are burning all their resources, all their picks, all their strategies. And so EDG goes, so that's what you're playing. And they still ran into FPX, and I think they got knocked out in the loser bracket, and they were like, okay, fix some stuff, and then they got in, right? I don't trust this team. I don't trust them one little bit. Do I still think they're going to get out? Yeah, I think they're going to get over T1. But I think the second team is more than likely actually going to be 100 Thieves. I think it'll be 100 Thieves. I think it'll be EDG and 100 Thieves getting out.
So spicy.
I like it. I like it though.
I don't know. I think 100 Thieves is smart enough to understand how T1's going to play because I haven't been sold on T1 either. I think really only big superstar that they've had going on has been Faker and Gusumiyasi. I'm botching that.
Gumayusi. Hang on. I've got it.
Gusumiyashi.
Nope, it's Gumayusi.
Going full baby.
Gumayusi,
I'm going full baby talk at this point. Yeah, either way.
Goo Gaga.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect.
We are not a professional podcast, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I think pretty much Faker and Guma, whatever. I think
G-Man.
G-Man. The G-Man. I think those have been the only two major carries for T1, honestly, and the rest have been kind of meh all over the place. I don't really trust them all that much. And that's all I really got.
So then with C9 and TL, because we're talking about 0-18 or 18-0.
Cloud9, I think honestly will get in, and it's just going to be them and Rogue boxing for third. I think Cloud9's smart enough to overtake third. I think Rogue's probably the worst team in the whole group stage, honestly.
Interesting.
I think they'll probably go 1-5. I think they'll probably trade games with Cloud9 somewhere down the line, but I really don't see them taking more than that.
I mean, you know the way it's going to go with Cloud9 is they'll take a game off of Damwon or FPX early, right? And everyone will absolutely freak out and be like, "Here's how Cloud9 can make it out of groups," and then they'll drop both their games to the other team, and then they'll drop one to Rogue, and they'll finish 2-4, and everyone will be like, "Oh man, if they hadn't thrown at Baron, or if Sven hadn't been caught out in the river, then maybe they could have made it out of groups." But I think this group is just so diabolically difficult if you are not Damwon or FPX that I just do not see it happening.
Sandy, I actually Riot sent me a couple script options here, and in Vert B2 Rogue secretly has signed all of Pentanet's spring team and are
Oh.
going to sub them in the second game against C9 so that they can upset them again.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's the long con, right? That's what you gotta. It's what you gotta play before is the long con. So
Yeah,
so that's script B2, but I think they changed it. So who knows?
Right.
So yeah, at the end of the day, though, I think Cloud9's going to box with Rogue for third. I kind of do subscribe to your theory, though, Sandy, a little bit, that I think Cloud9 will probably take a game off of either Korea or China just once, and then they'll probably get knocked down by Rogue just to kill their chances of getting out. Not that they were ever going to get out. We'll have a little bit of hopium just to give us the heart attack a little bit, and then it'll get shut down real fast.
Right.
Moving down to Group D really fast. Gen G, Mad Lions, Team Liquid, and then LNG. Y'all already heard me earlier. LNG's top in this group. I think they're better than Gen G. Mad Lions is good, and I think they're better than Gen G, so I think they'll probably be second. And then it's going to be Team Liquid boxing with Gen G for third. And I mean, I think it'll be kind of a three-way fight for second, obviously. This will be a very exciting group. I'll be very curious to see how this turns out, but I think at the end of the day, it'll probably end up being LNG and Mad Lions come out on top. Hopefully Team Liquid proves me wrong, though, because I think they can take second in this group. If they can capitalize on a lot of Mad Lions issues that they do have. Not that they have a lot, obviously. They're very, very hot. But I think it's doable for Team Liquid. They can absolutely do it. And then I don't really trust Gen G that much. I probably have them only slightly above HLE, and that's not saying much. Yeah. I will say, I was listening to Summoning Insight earlier, and Monty, Cristo, and Thorn both had Sheepy and an analyst from the LJL on. And Monty does his normal thing where he's like, hey, I got some scrim bucks. Like, who's giving out scrim bucks? Like, who's doing well? And both of them said that while Mad Lions was good, they weren't all that impressed with them. So I'm just going to put that out there. Both Sheepy, who's a coach for UOL, and an LJL analyst both said from the rumors they've heard about scrims going on, Mad Lions has not been what they were expecting. Not bad, but just they're not like elite tier is what I've been hearing.
It's what we call tactical inting to throw them off their game.
Right.
Possibly, who knows?
The other thing I'll say about scrims is that it's like you always got to take all of that stuff with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. It's some teams absolutely stomp in scrims and then cannot perform on stage, or vice versa. They win their best of ones and they do just fine. So
I think there's only been one scrims ever that was like a genuine prediction of who was going to win, and that was Samsung.
Yeah. So, and even like I remember, everyone was hearing about how good Griffin was, back in the day, and then they came out and they actually weren't. They were still really good, but they weren't like the god tier team everyone had made them out to be, during scrims.
Turd.
What?
Because Sword was being a little turd.
Something like that. All right. Final. So we talked Group A and Group D. Knox, let's just chat Group B real fast. Our friends in 100 Thieves. Or did you already talk about this group? I'm sorry.
He did touch
I already mentioned it. I don't think you yourself have talked about
it. I just wanted to...
Sandy, talk about everything to us.
I just wanted to say that in this group, I think 100 Thieves has a legit shot at getting out. I think it would be in second. But, presumably Beyond Gaming slots into this group. And I'll be honest... T1 is not a team that has been too particularly impressive for me this year. And EDG, I think they could easily... there could be a spot where they drop a game to 100 Thieves. I could see 100 Thieves making it out in a 3-3 or even 4-2 fashion in this group. However, I also could see them, going 2-4. And I think that's the case, really... my broader point for all of the NA teams is that I could see all of them, not all three making it out of groups in the same tournament, but like I can see cases for all three making it out of groups, even C9 in Group A, where something weird happens.
Really?
Where something weird happens where, like, they take both games off Rogue and then a game off of one of the other teams. And then, Rogue takes a game and then there's a tiebreaker, and something weird happens and they just, like, scrape it out. Something like that. I think, like I said, Group D, I think Team Liquid can, punch their way out probably behind LNG Esports, and I think 100 Thieves has a legit shot as well. So, but at the same time, I could easily see, all of these teams going 1-5 or 2-4 in their groups. I think the tiers, there's sometimes in fantasy football, what we talk about often is like, the ceiling and the floor. So I think I would argue all the NA teams have a ceiling of being able to make it out to their group, make it out of their group, but they also have a very low floor of performing absolutely horrifically and being a bit of an embarrassment for the region once again. So that is my take on this. And then Group C for me, just quickly, super interesting group because this group gets Hanwha Life. It's got Fnatic, it's got PSG Talent, it's got RNG. Like I said kind of earlier, for me, any team could make it out of this group.
For me, it's
the most
Fnatic.
volatile group.
It's the most it's the most volatile group for sure.
It is. But for me, it's Fnatic and RNG.
Yeah, I would say Fnatic.
I
would say Fnatic and RNG are definitely the favorite teams here. I think PSG looked human in the playoffs. I mean, Beyond Gaming beat them in a best of 5, so now there's actual recent footage of how to defeat PSG. So that is available to teams. So we'll see how it goes. But this is definitely the group that I am most interested in watching out for. Who's going to make it out. So
I would also like to see which wife buff is stronger.
Upset or
Chogi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that could be super interesting. Okay, before we get
100 Talk Pod, you missed us bragging about the boys.
Well, I mean, here's the thing is, I think you posed a question in our tweet earlier that I think we have to answer, Sandy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to first ask, before we got to that one, because that's a good one. Sure. I was going to ask for the inevitable, all right, name the team that wins Worlds right here, right now.
Ball. Yeah.
Give me the crystal ball, and then we can get into the fun stuff with which current NA team is the most like FlyQuest. But yeah, give me your crystal ball. I think LOL Esports even has this up right now, where you're supposed to go for some bonus points in pick'ems and pick your World's winning team right now. So Curly, starting with you, who do you got taking everything?
Well, so it really, I need to think for a second, because I already made my pick on pick'em. And in this moment, I need to debate whether or not I want to stay true to that or just hope that that's right and have my podcast choice.
Would you like me to go while you look? Or
yeah, so I'm going to give it to Noxwar first while I have some deep reflection.
All right. I picked on my pick'ems for Riot's pick'ems thing, and I truly do believe that RNG is going to be the one that ends up winning this World Championship. Interesting. I think at the end of the day, you're pretty much going to have all 4 LPL teams getting, like, assuming there's no, like, weird seeding crap happening and going into the bracket stage, I'm going to honestly assume it's going to be a majority of LPL teams going into the semifinals, with maybe Damwon sneaking into semis. I think overall at the end of the day, I think RNG is going to end up clutching it out against the other Chinese teams. This is going to be a Chinese-centric year, I think. This is just going to be like, which Chinese team is going to show up better up on the day against the other Chinese team. That is what this world is going to be.
Yeah, that's very fair. Curly, are you ready?
I'm ready, and I've done my reflection, and I will say this. Number one, I firmly believe that this is the year we bring the world's title over to the West. And I think, as much as I would love it to be in 100 Thieves' hands, I think it's going to be in the hands of a European team. Now, as you know, I am a Fnatic fan. That is my go-to team in the LEC. I am always Fnatic. In fact, even earlier today on my solo queue, or actually it wasn't even solo queue, I was just on League in the morning, and Drek asked me, what's that icon? Because I have my Fnatic icon on instead of 100 Thieves or anything. But I think it's Mad Lions. And that is what I picked on LoL Esports. I firmly believe that if there's going to be any EU team, like, it will be until semifinals when Fnatic either beats Mad Lions because they have to, or are about to like face them in finals. Like, that's what I believe. All right, it's Fnatic, because they're going to make it into playoffs and they're going to make it past the first round. But I think it's Mad Lions. And I can see your thumbs down and that you are against me.
Well,
but,
that is certainly...
Who predicted MSI from the get-go? I said it was going to be RNG from day one.
That is certainly a take. But, you know... Ooh, all right.
You gotta warn us when you open the oven like that, Curly.
Yeah,
there are no warnings, only fire.
I gotta check my eyebrows. Okay, good. They're still here. They weren't singed off. All right, good.
We ducked off to the side quick enough, Sandy. We're good.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to say Molly like Brimstone.
That's fair. That's Molly. I am doing this right now, live on stream. Well, you can't see it because it's not on the stream, but I'm doing it right now. I am locking in Fun plus Phoenix as my team to win Worlds. That is my Crystal Ball team. You got it here. I'm getting the thumbs up. Nox is staying in frame. Let's go. Doinby returns, and he dances his way to a second world championship. That is my crystal ball. All right.
So, Sandy, all I'm going to ask is, when it comes to the NFL, do you like root for the Steelers anytime they're in the Super Bowl too?
No, I've been a diehard New England Patriots fan since 2000. So.
Oh, okay. So the other bandwagon. Got it.
No, excuse me. If this has been a 21-year-long bandwagon since I was the ripe age of 5 years old. So
you're also from DC, so like it's respectable.
Yeah. I'm not even So, all right. Here's the most important question, and this is for any true FlyQuest flight checkers in the audience tonight. What North American team is the most like FlyQuest? Now, obviously, we will be rooting for all NA teams this Worlds, because that is what we do. We support our own. We support our region. I am going to assign both of you a team out of the three, and then I'll take the third one. And then you are going to have to give me an impassioned 1-minute defense of why your team is most like FlyQuest in character, in morals, in merch, in play styles. You know, however you want to defend it. This is your time to make the case for that team. Nox, I'm gonna give you 100 Thieves. I am going to give Curly Team Liquid, and I'm going to assign myself Cloud9.
Oh boy, okay, so we have to, like, it's like a sign the case. We are public defendants.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a I'm accepting your case. This is, you're being assigned the case. And I really wanted to assign myself 100 Thieves because I felt like that would be the easiest one.
It's the easiest one by far. Noxwar got the freaking traffic ticket, and we've got murder cases.
All right, Curly, you're up first. Team Liquid, why are they most like FlyQuest?
Well, it starts with one thing and one thing only. That is the jungle in Santorin carrying over from the quote-unquote heyday of FlyQuest, where we were the only team to go 3-3 in NA. It was arguably on the back of Santorin, and he pushed that team all the way through to the finals of LCS Summer 2021. So I don't care about anyone else on the team. Santorin alone is going to make TL look good. He carries the heart of FlyQuest with him and brings the energy, the goodness, the power over to the rest of them. And Team Liquid can very easily take the energy of a FlyQuest team that was able to take down the expected winner of TES and overrun Gen G, Mad Lions, and whoever decides they want to fill that fourth slot. So that, in my case, is why Team Liquid is most like FlyQuest and why you should root for them, because there's a piece of us in them.
This is fair. Okay. Nox, it's your time. 100 Thieves.
Oh boy. All right. I think we'll start off with the obvious, right? So last year, FlyQuest was in a group with the number 1 LPL team and the number 3 LCK team, right? Look at what 100 Thieves is in. They have the number 1 LPL team and the number 3 LCK team. Coincidence? I think not. My case.
Okay. As I'm starting my defense, I'm going to also start a poll in the chat, so please let us know who you think is correct, and we'll see the poll results in just a minute. All right, poll is not working because for some reason it just won't let me start the poll. Well, that's super awkward. All right, well, just let me know.
It's because my reasoning was so good.
The reasoning was so good. Let me see if I can fix it. I don't know why the poll won't start. That is super awkward.
I think we just might not have enough. I think
maybe we don't have enough people in it in the chat.
No. I think it has to do with this particular achievement.
Alco. Well, all right. Maybe one of y'all can figure out what's going on there. Anyway, all right. Cloud9. They are the most FlyQuest-like team. Why? Because they embrace the memes. They embrace the fun. They embrace the positivity. They embrace the negativity. They take everything that comes their way and they turn it into something better. They turn it into something great. I would even argue that Cloud9 knows how to #showcase greatness just in the way that they conduct themselves as an organization and as a team. They have players who love to have fun. They have players who love to meme. They have players who just enjoy being on the Rift. They are a fountain of just overwhelming positivity, and you know that when you look at Cloud9, it's gonna be a fun time. In the same way that when you see FlyQuest, you know you're gonna have a good time, no matter what. That is about all I can say. I did definitely give myself the hardest one. And that's that. So please let us know in the chat which one you think is correct. I don't know why this poll will not do the thing, unfortunately. But that is super annoying.
Nox swore voting against himself. Love to see it. Yeah, just do a quick Curly, Nox, or Sandy in chat. Just bam, bam, bam. Not Rice. So while we're taking time to gather this poll, I just want to say Rice that not saying Nox's argument being the best. I'm hurt.
Ooh.
I put so much energy and compassion into my presentation, and he pointed at the sky and said aliens.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with 100 Talk Pod. Ricebox with the correct rankings here, I believe. Ooh, Nox in the number 4 slot. Ooh, that's a bit rough. That's a rough one right there. Well, I think what we can take away from this is that every team has something to offer FlyQuest fans.
That's
you
true.
just have
That's
to.
True.
You've got to make the most of it. You've got to take what you can get.
Now, Sandy.
Yes.
Would you mind if I presented the case that I would have chosen had I had the choice?
Sure. Give me the thing.
When you look at the 3 representatives that are going to Worlds from NA, there is only one team that embodies the mindset of bettering themselves wholly, even if it takes a few years to do it, so that they can create the best versions of themselves, and I would say showcase greatness on the Rift. And that is 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves takes the time to build themselves up, and being one of the other young organizations in the LCS, they are what I see on the horizon to be the new era. There will be a world where EG, 100 Thieves, and FlyQuest are the big 3. Because we have the heart, and we are young and hungry. Much like 100 Thieves.
Oof.
Damn.
Well,
okay.
There you go. I mean, Curly just kind of shilling for the 100 Thieves fans out there. But
Curly's doing my job. I'm no longer getting on the show. Thank you all for the time. I will hopefully see Ricebox here next week.
If there is one thing I'm good at, it is creating narratives.
There we go. The future is now, old man. Great. Curly, I believe, before we wrap up the show, I believe you had a take that you wanted to share from somebody.
So yeah, this dives into the LCK, which is something we don't touch upon often here in this NA-based podcast. But so my good friend Das Rufkin, I met him in the Fnatic server, and he's active in my Discord, yada yada yada. He gave me a summary of some of his opinions of the LCK representatives, and to extrapolate from that, he says that you can count on Damwon and T1 contending for first in their groups. Their weaknesses aren't nearly as big as Gen.G or Hanwha Life, but Gen.G has a chance of getting out of groups as well, mainly because they haven't. This is mainly because DOS hasn't seen games from LNG, so they're not sure of that. And lastly, Hanwha Life is an interesting case, because this is reliant on the Church of Chovy. So if he pops off, he can solo carry against everyone. He even says that Chovy is undisputably the best player in the world at the moment. I'd like to see your guys' opinions after this once I finish. So if his laners can make sure not to int too much, or not be down 100 CS at 15 minutes, they have a chance to get out as a first or second seed of their group. So I know you guys have definitely watched more LCK than I have. So I want your opinions on what he says.
Nox, why don't you hit it first here?
So I'll take the last statement, right, which was Chovy is the currently best player in the world. Was that the statement correct?
Undisputably, in his words.
Indisputably?
The undisputably part, but I would argue that he could be taken as the best player in the world. I think there's arguments to be made for other players. I think Rookie's still up there, even though obviously Invictus Gaming didn't do well this year. Mm-hmm. I think Showmaker obviously has a place in this title, agreement as well, or agreement, title fight as well, right? I would say I probably agree. I do think Chovy is the best player in the world right now, but I don't think it's undisputable. I think there are arguments for other people. Just real quick, what were the other two?
The other 2 points were that he believes you can count on Damwon and T1 contending for first in their groups, as their weaknesses aren't as big as those that would be present in Gen.G and Hanwha Life. And then
Damwon and T1 contesting for first.
And Gen.G has a chance of getting out, but this is based partially on the fact that DOS does not know LNG's level of play. So this is like, even regardless of LNG in their groups, They're saying that Gen G is better than, or like could at least beat TL or Mad enough to get out.
I mean, to get out of the groups, yeah, Gen G could do it. Don't get me wrong. Do I think they'll do it? I don't think so. No.
I mean, I could see a world where it's LNG and Gen G getting out of that group. You know.
Yeah, totally. Like I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but it could totally happen. And if it does happen, I won't be surprised.
Right.
And then Damwon and T1 contesting for first in the groups. Damwon, obviously, yes.
Yeah, I concur with that one. I don't agree with T1 though.
I think T1's going to be fighting for
third.
I think they'll be fighting for second. I think they'll be fighting for second. I don't think they'll be fighting for first, but I think they'll be fighting for second.
Maybe.
I think they'll be fighting for second along with like.
Now
100 Thieves. I bet.
I will say this: my opinion on all this, is I do think he has a fair amount of points. I too am underestimating Gen G. I think once you throw LNG in the mix, it'll be very difficult for them. And like I said, I predict Mad to potentially win Worlds. So yeah, but when it comes to the best player in the world, I don't know. This could be me having some hopium, having some blind faith. But I believe Showmaker, in my opinion, is the best player in League right now. And because I remember back when MSI was happening, at the end of it all, I said, I think there's a potential case for arguing that Showmaker will take over as the new Faker once he decides to retire.
I mean, I don't disagree with that one. I think Showmaker is definitely on his way to making his mark as one of the best players of all time. Yeah. Well, Worlds starts in, let me do the math, just under...
less than 12 hours.
I was going to say almost 10 hours from now.
Yeah.
10 hours, 20 minutes.
10 hours and 22 minutes, yeah, will be the first game. Hanwha Life versus LNG Esports. Very, very exciting. Cloud9 will start their matches later in the day. I think their first game is at 1 o'clock Eastern time, taking on DFM. That is about it, though, for us. This has been Flight Check International, Season 1.5, Episode 2. We will be back doing more Worlds coverage as the tournament goes on, so be on the lookout for that. We may adjust the timing here and there, depending on when things change. I do believe next week we will have had a full day of group stage already occurred. So we'll probably still do that Monday night, and then we'll have the final day of groups, the Monday after that. So we'll have that to talk about, and then quarterfinals will occur. So we'll pretty much stay on the Monday schedule from here on out until Worlds is over. But that's about it for us. Before we wrap up the show, gentlemen, any final plugs or shoutouts that you would like to drop while everyone is here? Curly, starting with you.
Well, sure thing. First things first, I'm gonna shout out Switchbox, who is someone who is in the FlyQuest Discord and 100 Talk community, as he gave me the idea yesterday on stream to do a Worlds jersey tier list, which I will be doing on Wednesday, so that'll be very fun if you want to check that out. I'll probably put the video of it up on my YouTube later this week. But yeah, so I'm going to have fun reading all those. So shout out to Switchbox for that idea. I'm going to shout out the 100 Talk community, because I've last couple of weeks just made an active point to say good morning most days of the week and then have short conversation there. And y'all are really chill people. I enjoy it a lot. And last is a plug. As I said at the beginning, I will be doing my own pick'ems using the LOL Esports leaderboard. So go to my Twitter below and hop in my Discord. To give some quick details, I will be giving away $5, $10, and $20 worth of RP to the top 3 people, as well as giving away a Worlds team skin from previous years for whoever gets their crystal ball correct. So those are some really cool things you could win if you want to hop in on my leaderboard on LOL Esports and join my pick'ems.
Nice. Lovely. Nox War, anything that you have to say?
Big shout out to Hooli, Mr. Hoolibot himself. He's been absolutely fantastic this past week. Who's been working with me and Drek on getting all the pick'ems set up and kind of just being badass in general. You guys haven't seen the website that he's created for these pick'ems yet.
What?
Yeah, that'll go up tomorrow after the first set of games are done, and you guys will see what that looks like, and it looks awesome. So please go check that out. Please go give Julio a lot of love in the FlyQuest Discord. He's been super awesome in creating and working with me and Drek on it. Go give Drek some love too, FlyQuest Community Manager. He's been super awesome in helping support this, make this happen, and has blown this up to proportions that I didn't think we were ever going to happen. I originally created Pick'ems for the sake of just having a fun community thing to do, and now it's all over Twitter, it's all over the FlyQuest subreddit, it's all over the League of Legends subreddit. We were trending at like number 7 on the League of Legends subreddit earlier today. Blows my mind. We have over, currently, as of updated right now, 272 submissions for this Pick'ems.
Nice.
World.
Nice.
That is literally 2.5 times bigger than anything that I've done. Actually, no, that's not even true. Active-wise, it's 4 times bigger than anything I've ever done. So This is going to be very interesting for me as I try and make sure everything stays handled and everything stays up to date, because I have not handled numbers this big. Hopefully it'll be fine. I have lots of formulas in the Excel sheet ready to go. But
luckily you got some people helping you, man. Yes.
So big shout outs to those guys, and as always, 100 Talk Pod, they're going to be doing their stream here in about 45 minutes. I think they said they're going to be watching either the T1 VODs over in LCK or EDG VODs over in LPL. I'm personally hoping they do EDG VODs so I can sit there and crap on them. But whichever they do, I'll be watching here in a little bit, and I'll be cheering on the boys and watching the dads rip them apart.
Excellent. Okay. I have one thing I'm going to read, and then we will end the show.
Oh.
It's going to be one of those things you read and you immediately cut the stream.
Well, look, maybe. This is on the front page of the subreddit, but I think it's good. Let me just say that this has been, like I said, Flight Check Season 1.5, Episode 2. Thank you so much for watching. The VOD will be up on YouTube soon, and we are on all of your favorite streaming platforms as well. Audio streaming platforms, that is. We'll be back here next Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can follow all of us at the Twitter handles that you see below. Myself, SantosDB, Nox War with 2 R's, and Curly_QQ_. You can follow the show itself at Flight Check Crew, where I will be tweeting plenty of memes and good things. And then, we will see you next week. And so now, as is tradition, someone on the subreddit has prepared a prayer for NA. So if you would, a moment of silence as I read this prayer out. Our Father above, who art in heaven this day, we pray to you for the rise of NA. 100 Thieves, Cloud9, and Team Liquid 2. I'm just praying that Groups doesn't end with me blue. But no, dear Lord, I will not despair, because this is our time to take what's been theirs. We'll bring 100 Thieves, but we only need 5. EDG and T1 desperate just to stay alive. I pray for closer pop-offs, for heartbreakers galore. I pray that FBI comes to knock down the door. I hope for a top laner who's got lane on lock. Other teams, I dare you to give someday the croc. Faker Doggy's assassins will frighten and scare. Plus, I just went to my fridge and I found Huhi there. Team Liquid's aggressive, calculated at best, and I pray to you, Lord, that they might pass this test. Santorin unleashed, Fog of War holds no fear. Alphari's finally ready to gnar them this year. Jensen's unlocked, Realm Warp at the ready. I don't need tactical rock solid, I just want him steady. And finally, Core JJ, to you I pray last, help turn NA lull into a thing of the past. And finally, Cloud9, oft NA's great hope. I know that you're not at the end of your rope. Blabberfish is hungry, and I know Perks is too. I want a kindred skin in Cloud9's white and blue. Sven's back on the big stage, Vulcan by his side. Give me an Ezreal worthy of our region's pride. Fudge Factor, it's time. Your moment is here, because as is tradition, this year is our year. And amen.
And amen.
And amen. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and we will see you very, very soon. Adios.
Later, guys.
Peace, y'all.